a busy schedule of speaking engagements. So basically the plan is we are going to meet up with the lady that's coordinating all of this and has invited us to come to Washington. And I've never done anything like this before. I mean, I have spoke at the Capitol in California before for Mustangs, but that's not flying to Washington, D.C. and going from meeting to meeting to meeting, being the voice for horses. When Clint was alive, he did so much to try to end the big lick. And I did go and deliver some material to some of the folks in Nashville, but this is a whole new level. It's going to be something else for sure. So I hope you enjoy following along with us today, being the voice for horses in Washington, D.C. If we don't change, we've been rescuing for 20 years. I haven't seen a change. And if we can let people know what we're seeing firsthand and the horror that these horses are going through, that's where change can actually happen. So we'll see how today goes, and might tweak our style a little bit from meeting to meeting, because like I said, I've never really done this before. Yeah, it'll be interesting. So far it's going good. Definitely out of my element, I feel like, but everything is very much different up here. But hopefully we are making a difference and being the voice for horses, and that's what I definitely feel like I'm doing today.
There's just a lot of walking. This is most of what we have done up here, is walking and a little talking and more walking and walking and more walking and then talking.
And then talking and walking.
And then talking.
And then walking and talking and walking and then talking.
Yes.
So the last meeting was with Congressman Costa's office, and we knew going in, thanks to our lobbying firm, that there was opposition to our equine welfare bills, and Tawnee and Jason were absolutely brilliant, actually really captivated her. She was interested and passionate and shocked and really seemed to connect with Tawnee and Jason over what they talked about. So fantastic meeting, best one of the day, and on to the next.
Let's put you out of work, and that's exactly what I would love. I would love not to have to rescue these animals in horrific situations. So we've done a great job. What you do here is absolutely amazing.
Well, thank you, and it was a joy to sit back and watch you work today. And I hope she just puts me in a place where I can hang out with my horses, and I don't have to drive up to Washington.
Yes. I'm sure we'll be back together doing this again.
Spring, everybody, spring.
Yes. So keep up the amazing work. Yeah, so Marty, thank you so much for meeting with me, and we've had quite the last 2 days of lobbying for the horses, which I know you're very passionate about horses, but why is it important to lobby for animal laws?
Well, Tawnee, thank you so much for being here in Washington, D.C. It's extremely important. I came 10 years ago to Washington to testify at a hearing in support of the PAST Act, Prevent All Soaring Tactics Act, to end the soaring of Tennessee walking horses, and I never dreamed that I would never leave. But I realized, early on that it was the impact that you can have from a policy perspective of how to change things in the country for the betterment of horses and really all animals. We can all rescue a horse, we can all rescue a dog or a cat, and it's wonderful, and I admire the work that you guys do, what you've done with Glimmer and other horses. But at the end of the day, if we're going to solve the problem, we have to make national policy changes that really impacts thousands, tens of thousands of horses' lives.
If somebody's just coming here and reading off paper, like to actually be able to see it, and from somebody that's been in the trenches, I think I saw a lot of lights come on.
I know years ago, our friend Clancy that we missed that passed away earlier this year, he used to always bring the big stacks and the chains with him when we'd come up. And that really resonated with people. Seeing those stacks and chains, like, what is this terrible stuff on these horses' feet, really made a difference versus just talking about it or even a picture. And then the same with horse slaughter. You know, horse slaughter is so gruesome. It's terrible. The majority of the population is so against horse slaughter. It's an important issue right now that I think we stand a good chance of getting something done on because of the farm bill that has to move in 2024 before the end of September. And I would advocate for each of you out there to please, if you can't come to Washington, D.C., I mean, come to Washington, D.C. if you can. That's most important. But if you can't come to Washington, D.C., at least call your members of Congress at 202-224-3121. It's 202-224-3121, and ask them to support a ban on horse slaughter in the upcoming farm bill by including language that would amend the Dog and Cat Meat Trade Prohibition Act we passed in the last farm bill to include American equines. And if we do that, we'll stop 90% of the horse slaughter that's out there. You're still going to have some rogue people that try to beat the system, but we'll stop 90% of it if we do that one thing, and we can get that included in the farm bill next year.
Do you have any advice for me on how to, I mean, Clint did such an amazing job with the protest, and filling his shoes is impossible, but do you have any advice for me going back to Tennessee on, you know, there's a new show season coming up next year. How can we most impact what's happening to these horses and raising awareness? Like, what's your thoughts?
Well, no, I commend you guys, Tawnee, you and Jason, for all you do at Horse Plus Humane Society and picking up the torch and carrying it. I was kind of worried whether someone would be there to do that or not, because I'm here in D.C. and there are fewer and fewer people in Tennessee these days that are involved. So I think doing what you guys are doing and continuing on with the protests that Clint started, those were always extremely effective. They make a difference. If you really want to make a difference and you want to make a donation to Horse Plus Humane Society. They're up here on Capitol Hill. They've traveled from Tennessee. They're rescuing horses on the ground, and I am here every day. I've been here 10 years, and I can tell you in the past 2 years, I have not seen a single lobbyist from the Humane Society of the United States or the ASPCA on Capitol Hill on any day. And that's kind of shocking, but I call them desk jockeys. They like to lobby from their computer. Well, anybody can lobby from their computer. Being here in person is what counts. What you're doing is what counts. And really and truly, those protests mean a lot because it's about public opinion. It's about creating awareness. So please go show up at the protests and be there to help Tawnee and Jason and Horse Plus Humane Society carry on the torch for Clancy and save these Tennessee walking horses from abuse.
Well, Marty, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to meet with us here. We'll be flying out in the morning, but I just want to thank you for your support and for all that you do for the animals, and for what you are trying to do to get a better world for Tennessee walking horses when you're amongst all of them. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. Like, you know, they look at them like, oh, they're all terrible. And I know there's folks in there who don't like it. And I'm at the shows with the flat shod, and nobody's cheering or anything for them. And I'm like, woohoo! And the big league people come up and they're like, why are you cheering for them? And I'm like, I think that's how they should be shown. And you know, it's going to take everybody working together, and I think just sharing what's happening for people on social media. And again, just thank you so much for your time and your support and for what you do.
Oh, and thank you and Jason both, and everybody at Horse Plus Humane Society. You guys are doing great work. We're going to get there. I think, you know, we've got a long road ahead of us, but we've made so much progress over the past decade. There's so many people that have changed their minds, and there are a lot of people in the walking horse industry that are good people that don't store horses or don't have stored horses, and they're just trapped in a system where the people who are conducting the abuse and supporting the abuse are in control and in power. So that's why they lose a lot of people in the breed, but eventually I do believe that good will prevail and these horses will be saved.
Tawnee and I are back up here. We're going to be roaming the halls of Congress today. We have a lot of appointments lined up. We're working with a lobby group and another animal welfare organization to really, hopefully, make some major impact on horses and other animals across the United States. So let's get going.
This is a letter of support from our organizations within the Full Circle Life Horse Shelter Network. We can't have all these organizations here today, but all these organizations are in support of this, and so I'll be presenting this letter on their behalf.
So this is a flyer that actually Barbara Moore with Equine Collaborative International put together, and this shows actually all of the anti-slaughter movement around the world. So Canada, we have France, we have Italy, we have Britain, Switzerland, Greece. Greece actually in 2020 outlawed slaughter of horses entirely. Britain also has passed a bill in the House of Commons. So we have actually all the international action here. We have a letter from Animal Wellness Action supporting the SAFE Act. We have a letter from USTA, United States Trotting Association, so our standardbred folks. We have a letter from the Jockey Club, New York Racing Association, New York Thoroughbred Breeders, and New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association. We have a letter from Sonia Meadows with Animals Angels. We have a letter, which is absolutely wonderful, from Chief Lee Plennywolf with White Horse Creek Council. We have the wonderful medical journal article from AVMA here for our legislators. And we have the printout from AWI of all of the organizations, individuals, and groups that support the SAFE Act. So that is what we will be presenting to our legislative offices today. And thank you to Tawnee and Jason for being here today, and to Deborah West of Liberty Sanctuary for being here today. And we're looking forward to a great day on the Hill and a great day tomorrow as well.
So how many meetings do we have today?
We have 6 meetings today and 19 deliveries with hopes for drop-in meetings. And tomorrow we have 16 meetings. So,
wow,
that's it.
Busy, busy, busy.
We're now walking up to the House of Representatives on the Hill, and we've got all our group with us, and it's going to be interesting to see who all we get to talk to today, and what effect we can have, what influence we can have speaking for the horses.
We're here at our first meeting location, and we'll see how today goes. We have a lot of meetings today, but tomorrow we have even more meetings, and it's very important that we're able to come and share our world with the people, and this is their world, office buildings and space and papers. And you know, I've been in the trenches, I've been down in the mud with these horses in the slaughter pipeline, and it's very important to be able to tell their stories and why these laws need to be changed. So that's what I'm here to do.
So we're doing a lot of drop-offs. We can just go to the representative's office, drop off the information for them. They can study it on their own time. We also have a lot of scheduled meetings, which are a little more in depth, like half an hour long. So kind of an appointment to meet our actual representative from Tennessee. So hopefully we'll be able to meet with him and share with him what's going on in the horse industry and how he can help support horses being safe.
All right, we're just leaving a Tennessee office and had a really great talk with them about trying to strengthen the laws in Tennessee, that just anybody shouldn't be able to geld a horse. Meeting went really well. Got some more great contacts, so now we're headed to the next meeting. We have only a few minutes to get there before we're late, and we are hurrying, trying to get to the next one. Okay, we just had a really good meeting. We were able to meet with the congressman, had questions about horse abuse and horse slaughter and all these things. We were able to answer some questions and bring some information to light as far as like the AVMA did a study about horse slaughter and that it's toxic. And so he's unaware of that. So great education, being able to meet with the congressman himself.
So he was pretty, so we grabbed Congressman Rouser. It's taken us a long time to get a meeting with him. He pretty straightforward. He said that he's pro-slaughter.
But he's against abuse. He doesn't want abuse to happen.
Correct.
But slaughter, or the current system, slaughter and abuse are hand in hand.
Right. He did say that he has when we brought up the criminal element of it and the kill buyers and their character, he said he had absolutely no tolerance for that behavior. So he was very supportive of that. He said that's just not something he will stand for. So maybe that impacted him a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, and I think he's going to probably research what the AVMA said.
Yeah.
The fact that horse meat is toxic is something that a lot of these folks are not thinking of. So yeah, I think it was a good meeting.
It was a good meeting.
Yeah.
It was nice we got
is directly reflected in the numbers dropping, you know?
Yeah, the demand is going down. So
So
we'll see.
Yeah. So every once in a while you get in their office.
And it was really nice that he met with us. Like
Yeah.
the meeting was not with him, so
Yes.
it was. I think that was a big win.
Yeah, I think Congressman Rouser took a chance. He had other things to do, and he was wonderful. It was really great to talk to him. What we have today is we actually have a signature board that we are delivering courtesy of Diane Smith, who is one of our members in AWE, who did signature boards at the Horse Expos. And she provided us with 19 horse boards, signature boards, to deliver to a number of different offices. So this one's for you, Diane. We'll be delivering one of your boards today momentarily, and we'll also see if they have a moment to talk with us. That was a last minute meeting with Westerman's office. So we got in there, we delivered the signature board provided by one of our advocates, and then we had a brief meeting with their ag person on HR 3475. And delivered our packet of information, and Tawnee delivered her packet.
So
Off we go.
Off we go to the next one. We love to actually be able to get into an office and be able to present more, and sometimes it's just meeting in the hallway. We do everything we can, any opportunity we have to be the voice for horses and talk to somebody that has the power of making change, we try to do it.
So these are, this is really an amazing demonstration of advocacy on the part of a Colorado constituent who does information tables at course complex shows, and she did signature boards, and they look like this. So you have signatures front and back all over, and designed by her, and it has specifically the issue at hand, and she did both Safe Act as well as HR 3656. So here's a Safe Act example, and these are going to go out to 19 offices, and so we're making rounds. We have already delivered several, and we are on our way to the following offices. Representative Pete Stauber out of Minnesota. He's on the Natural Resources Committee. And Natural Resources is where HR 3656 sits. This is Dina Titus's bill to amend the Wild Horse and Burro Protection Act. The next office we're going to is Susie Lee, and she is already a co-sponsor on the Safe Act. The next office we're going to is Representative Tom Tiffany, and he is also on the Natural Resources Committee. And the next office after that will actually be G.T. Thompson, and G.T. Thompson is the chair of the Ag Committee, and so he is going to be, he's a high target for us to get the Safe Act pushed through. And then the next office we're going to will be Representative Doug LaMalfa, who we actually have a meeting with. So we're going to meet with his office about the Safe Act, and we're also going to deliver the signature card for HR 3656 for Diane. And so we have many, many more, which we might not get to today.
I think it's just really important. You might see things of like, hey, please sign this. We need signatures to help change laws, and you might think they never go anywhere, or like, how come if I sign this piece of paper or sign this petition, is it really going to make it up and make a difference? And yes, like, we're actually here and Britta's got them all and delivering them. So if you see someone asking like, hey, please sign this, have faith. Like, we are all working very hard to get you here, whether it's in person or through your signatures, to be an advocate for the horses. So how do you feel the last meeting went?
I feel like this last meeting went really well. Deborah rocked it.
Great
there.
job, great job.
Deborah's first time lobbying, and that was really amazing.
All right, so Deborah, you just did your first meeting. How was it?
First, I think it was great, but I also know I want to edit some more tonight, and but it was all positive, and she was very receptive, so that's great.
That's
I
awesome.
really appreciate that.
So and it's very important to tell the horses' story and what's happening with them. So what do you think what's your goal and impact of being here over the next 2 days?
Change some hearts and minds. You know, really make an impression, make them realize what it's like to be rescuing the horses and trying to help them move into productive lives, and that it's possible.
Yes, it is possible to make change, and that's what we're here. We're going to get as much change as we possibly can. The most, I think, shocking thing of all of this is you go into these offices, you have these meetings, and they're like, we had no idea this was such an important issue. And that's why we're here in Washington, D.C. And being the voice for horses and showing them firsthand, photos and videos that we have captured over the last 20 years. And the last office we visited, they were like, hey, this is great. We can do this for you. And, the more co-sponsors get on the SAFE Act, that's what's going to end slaughter. And front lines for both of us, 20 years of animal rescue, nothing has changed. And that's where it was like, we have to do something. So that's why we're focusing on trying to really make a huge impact on a national level. And we have great people at our organization taking care of the animals and everything. So we can come up here and speak from experience. We can't take video cameras in and show these meetings that we're having. But if you were able to see them, I think you would be shocked at the people being like, wow, we didn't know this. And it's I would talk to one person, congressman, we actually were able to talk with him in his office, and he's like, I am pro-slaughter. And as we were talking, I said, do you know, like, horse meat is tainted, and the AVMA has come out and they're against horse slaughter now. And he's like, no, I didn't know that. And so that could change his mind. It's very crucial, important work we're doing. And I just want to thank you so much for all of your support to help us rescue, shelter, and protect horses, because this is a big part of protecting them. I can trade.
Okay.
Trade. So you feel the weight of this. Can you imagine that being on a horse, and then you also have this chain?
No, that would be absolutely miserable.
Like, it's
Suffering.
unbelievable that they.
No, I could get a workout.
They don't take them
I'll
off.
take that.
It was really nice being able to have the stacks here, and I was able to bring out the stack, and the lady held it and she couldn't believe how heavy it was. So it's great having those props here, and the booklet is making a huge impact, and I think the meetings are going really well. We'll get Jason's input on it.
They're going really good. And Tawnee, of course, is as eloquent as ever, and she's able just to speak clearly and with great authority on the subject, because we've both been living here for 21 years.
Yes. So, and then this is for Northern California is where we're at right now. So, which I grew up in Northern California. And this is where we did our meeting. It's in the hallway. It's very noisy, but this is how it is. And we're doing the very best to bring awareness. And it's just one office after another all day long. We're actually walking to a meeting right now, but we're here in Washington, D.C., and yesterday was a great day of lobbying. We got to talk to a lot of important decision makers, and today we have a lot of meetings lined up too. So we're doing the best we can to be the voice for horses here in Washington, D.C. It's really amazing that a lot of these folks have never heard about what's actually happening on the front lines of horse rescue. When we're in Washington, D.C., we walk and we walk and we walk. We are going to be talking to whoever will listen, whoever we have meetings with, about what we see firsthand. So I hope you enjoyed this little update as we're walking along. We've been walking for quite a while, and we are excited about the change we have the potential of making by educating people here in Washington, D.C. on why horse laws need to be strengthened. So it's going to be a busy day. It is a very busy day at Washington, D.C. We're going to a lot of different offices. We've had some meeting cancellations. We've had some new ones where we're just kind of going with the flow today, but that is the way it is sometimes. So my name's Tawnee Preisner. I'm with Horse Plus Humane Society. I actually founded Horse Plus Humane Society when I was like 19, over 20 years ago. And now it's grown to be the largest horse rescue in the United States, and we also do global work. Our organization, we have 20 employees, we have 2 full-time veterinarians, so our organization is still very actively rescuing horses on the front lines, but I'm coming to Washington, D.C. to try to raise awareness of what's happening. We have the human health aspect of the tainted meat and also the abuse that's going unchecked within the slaughter pipeline. It is important to get the information into the hands of decision makers because a lot of them have no clue about what horses go through. They see horses on TV or something or in a horse movie, and that could be like some folks' only interaction with horses. So being able to show the side of the reality of horses are being horrifically tortured in the United States and the level of abuse that happens within the slaughter pipeline, it's really important to share these things. So far I've been really excited about this trip, and the presentations we've been able to do, I think, are really making an impact. It is day 3 of being on the Hill, and we are going to be our final day here of lobbying. We have more pamphlets to drop off, and we might get a few meetings, but this has been a very successful trip. I feel like we had a lot of really positive meetings, and it's a weird way of helping horses to me. Still, it seems a little foreign, but I totally understand that if laws don't change, horse slaughter is just going to continue until the demand gets so little ultimately I feel like it's going to shut down, but we need to come together and shut it down sooner, because in 20 years of animal rescue we haven't seen any changes. We're heading into this building, and we're going to be in there, and if any of the congressmen or congresswomen have supported the SAFE Act, we're also going to be thanking them for supporting it. So just dropping in and saying thank you so much for supporting the SAFE Act, which would end horse slaughter. So we'll see how today goes. As I get different cards and things from different offices, I'm sending them back to Angela, who's going to help me get all the emails to them as follow-up emails, and maybe schedule some Zoom meetings since we weren't able to meet in person here. So just trying to do as much as we can while we're here. I'm just getting ready to go into this office, and New York passed a law that horses cannot be sent through New York for the purpose of slaughter. So anyone that is in New York should automatically sign up on the SAFE Act, because their state already voted and passed a law that horses cannot be transported through New York, and that shut down one of the pipelines going to Canada. So hopefully drop this by and maybe they'll sign on too. I'm about ready to go into another office, and we're just on one floor and passing these booklets out, and there has been 2 co-sponsors for the SAFE Act and the PAST Act, and going in and just thanking them, I think is crucial, because if they're getting the feedback that somebody actually came in person to thank them for supporting the SAFE Act and the PAST Act and these acts that are impacting the lives of horses, it's going to show them that it's important. And so I'm about to go in and just thank them for supporting the PAST Act and SAFE Act. The PAST Act would end horse slaughter, and the SAFE Act would end horse slaughter, and then the PAST Act would end the big lick. So we'll just pop in and thank them. All right, I'm going in to give the last booklet away, and we really need donations to get more booklets so we can give them to the representatives. If we got these into every office, they would be educated. It's about $2.50 per booklet. I am going to add a few more things onto this. One of them I feel very important to add on is that the veterinarian AVMA has decided after a deep research into horse meat that it is very toxic and harmful for humans. So the AVMA used to be pro-slaughter, and they have removed the support because the horse meat is toxic. So this has moved from a horse welfare issue to a human health and safety issue from consuming horse meat, and also a horse welfare issue. So I feel like if we can really pound these streets, go office to office, get this information into the hands of decision makers, this will end, but we need your support to make it happen. So last one means we're gonna be done for the day.
We have completed 2 days of lobbying in DC. This is the second round, second trip that Tawnee and Jason have made to lobby with Advocate for Wild Equine Grassroots Lobbying Coalition. And I will say that lobbying in DC with Tawnee and Jason has really changed the game. It has really upped the challenges to our legislative offices. It has brought a whole different aspect and perspective to the lobbying. It gives them information that they're not going to get anywhere else. And so having Tawnee and Jason with me in these meetings and with the constituents in these meetings has been priceless. And I hope that this becomes a long-standing and regular thing because we need them on the Hill, absolutely. And I from the first time I heard Tawnee and Jason lobby in a meeting, I felt like, okay, this could be the game changer. This could be the thing that could push it over. And so I'm just so happy to have them here. I feel relieved every time, they say, oh, we can do this again. So I hope that we continue to do this together.